So partner and I are thinking about selling one of our rental properties. No longer fits into our portfolio, no longer is part of what we're trying to build, and it's time to unload. So just wanted to share a little bit about what I'm thinking what I'm thinking about as an investor, going through the sales process, how I'm getting ready mentally, the things that go through my head. So I would say number one is, how do we maximize the sale? And I think that's the thing that most people think about. I'm looking at it as, can we make some improvements? Are there things that that need to be done to the property, so when someone walks in, it's kind of a cash flow play immediately for them, and there's less that they have to do. That's usually how you maximize your sale. But the other side of it is, I'm thinking, who is our perfect buyer? Is it another investor? Is it a homeowner? This is a three-family that I'm speaking of, so it still qualifies for a traditional or conventional home loan. Is that the best route for us, and how do we maximize the sale to that individual? The next thing I'm thinking about is, if we maximize the sale, what are my tax consequences? What am I paying? What did we pay for the property? How much depreciation was accrued? So I'm talking to my CPA about crunching those numbers and looking at my potential tax consequences for the sale of this property. The capital gains that we've achieved are going to be taxed. Then I'm thinking, okay, with considering the tax consequences, do I do a 1031 exchange, or should my partner and I do a 1031 exchange? Being a 1031 exchange is, we take the proceeds from the sale of this property and use those proceeds as a down payment for our next property. And we're still kind of discussing that. And one of the things I've already stepped beyond and said, okay, well, what if we don't do a 1031 exchange and we just want to go our separate ways? What am I doing with the cash at that point? We've decided we don't want to sell, but as an investor, I always want to keep my cash working. I'm highest and best use. I want to make sure that my cash is making more cash for me. So I get these proceeds, I get this cash in. Where does it go now? Where it kind of maximizes its use, or its highest and best use. So those are the things that I'm thinking about as a seller. How do I get the highest sales price? How do I maximize that sales price? Who is my ideal client, my ideal buyer, and how do I make sure the improvements that we make are geared towards that ideal buyer? What are my tax consequences? And if I decide the 1031 exchange is not for me, what is the next play with that cash?